Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar From Complexity to Clarity Rethinking Financial Oversight in Clinical Trials. I'm Pooja Sood, your host for today, and on behalf of the entire CloudBiz team, thank you for joining us. We know how complex financial oversight in clinical trials can be, from unpredictable site budgets to compliance risk and delayed payments. Today, we are going to show you how it doesn't have to be that way. We'll explore how cloud based clinical trial financial management, or the CTFM solution, helps you move beyond spreadsheets, reduce reconciliation delays, and bring clarity and control to your budgeting process. Here's a look at what's in store. First, we'll unpack why clinical trial budgeting remains such a bottleneck in 2025, even with all the tools at our disposal. We'll then explore trends reshaping budgeting today, especially the use of historical benchmarks, FMV, and automation. Next, we'll take a closer look at how cloud based CTFM tackles these pain points, from real time financial tracking to milestone based payments. You'll also get a live walkthrough of the platform so you can see it in action. We'll close this. We'll close this with key takeaways and a Q&A. So please keep your questions coming throughout the session. And of course, if you manage to stay by the end of the Q&A, we have a special gift for you, so stay tuned. Just a quick notes to help you make the most out of this session. The session is being recorded and will be available at www.cloudbiz.com. We'll also be emailing you the link afterwards. Your mics are muted, but we want to hear from you. Please drop your questions in the Q&A tab anytime. If you run into any tech issues, just message us in the chat and we'll help you right away. And please stay with us until the end. We have a free financial oversight optimization guide waiting for you. Now, before we dive into today's topic, here's a quick introduction about CloudBiz. We're one of the fastest growing unified e-clinical solutions provider built 100% on Salesforce. That means we offer both clinical depth and platform flexibility, scaling with your business as your trials grow more complex. From CTMS, CTFM, which is the product focus for today, our budget management tool, we also have a product portfolio amongst ETMF, EDC, safety and pharmacovigilance, and recently launched clinicalwave.ai. Our products helps organizations like yours run trials faster and more efficiently, ensure compliance from start to finish, improve collaboration between teams, sponsors, and sites. We operate globally with headquarters in Chicago and our regional offices in Toronto and a delivery hub in Bengaluru. CloudBiz is ISO certified, FDA 21 CFR Part 11, GCP, and HIPAA compliant. And we're proud to be recognized in Everest Group's peak metrics for CTMS and EDC, a reflection of our commitment to excellence and innovation. Now let's meet today's speakers. First, we have Vedant, our product manager, who brings deep expertise in building scalable financial workflows for clinical trials. Next, we have Tunir, our life sciences solution manager, who has worked hands-on with sponsors and CROs to align business needs with technology. And I'm Pooja from marketing, who will be your webinar host for today. Together, we are here to walk you through the tools, strategies, and real world applications that can help you move from complexity to clarity in trial budgeting. Now, let's kick things off by exploring the root challenge. Why is financial management still a bottleneck? Over to you, Vedant.
Thank you, Pooja, for the introduction. Hey, everyone. It's such a pleasure to have you all here today. Let's start by looking at where we are today with clinical trial budgeting and where we are heading. The numbers you see on this slide are more than just data points. They tell us a story of rising complexity, growing delays, and urgent need for transformation. First, let's look at the left graph, average budget negotiation turnaround times. From just over 31 days in early 2020, we have ballooned to more than 52 days by Q1 2022. The story is same for contract negotiations, jumping from 27 days to nearly 64 days. That's more than double. What's the impact? Industry reports now link 40% of trial startup delays directly to financial negotiations. This means every extra week we spend negotiating budgets and contracts is a week lost in bringing treatments to patients. Now, look at the visual on the right. Clinical trial budgets have become layered and intricate. CRO services alone make up 40% of total percentage of total budget. But what's growing even faster are pass-through costs, site grants, lab vendors, logistics, you name it. Some of these, like vendor cost and travel logistics, range as high as 42% of the budget. This complexity isn't just a challenge, it's an opportunity for more detailed budgets, which allow us to improve tracking, benchmarking, as cost control, but only if we have tools to handle it. We are seeing a shift in real time financial enablement, especially with participant payments. Automated reimbursements are becoming a competitive advantage in recruitment and retention. On the site side, sponsors are using real time benchmarking to accelerate budgeting and reduce back and forth. Next slide. So we have seen the big picture, or we have just spoken high level about the big picture, more complexity, longer timelines, automation. But what's really happening behind the scenes? Here's where budgeting rubber really hits the road. While both CROs and sponsors are working towards the same outcome, timely, cost effective, and compliant trials, they face very difficult financial challenges depending on their role in the study. Let's break down the challenges from a CRO perspective. Complex service scope. CROs are managing wide areas of services from monitoring to data management and beyond, which vary by protocol, geography, and therapeutic area. Now, talking about geography and regulatory variability, what's compliant and standard in one region might be entirely different in in another region. This makes cost prediction and consistency a constant challenge. Excuse me. Internal cost structures. CROs must manage their own overhead, subcontractors, and vendor relationships, all while presenting a clear cost picture to the sponsors. Delays in startup or protocol amendment often leaves resources idle or stretched too thin, driving up the cost and reducing efficiency. Well, whether it's staffing shortages, geopolitical events, or site performance issue, CROs need to bake in risk mitigation into every budget. All in all, CRO needs a dynamic scenario based planning tool to adapt their budgets as quickly as trial evolve. On the sponsor side, on the right, they face an equally daunting but different set of issues, mainly around pass through cost. First is study design complexity. Now, more sites, decentralized models, precision medicine, all of these, etc. There's a lot. All of these factors make study budget harder to estimate accurately. And with the time growing, the complexity is adding up. Unpredictable timelines, recruitment lags, protocol amendments, sites, approvals. These timing variables can pile up even the best planned budgets. Patient recruitment challenges, one of the biggest cost driving factors. Sponsors often underestimate just how much recruitment efforts varies by geography and indications. Um, Regulatory compliance and audit readiness. There's a growing pressure from regulators to maintain audit ready documentation for every dollar spent, especially across multiple systems. And there are areas around site financial stability where in emerging regions, we have to ensure that sites are financially equipped to deliver consistent results. And many sponsors still rely on outdated manual reconciliation process, making it difficult to adjust spending in real time. Again, all in all, sponsors need a real time visibility and automated driven forecasting tools to prevent these issues from snowballing. Next slide. And let's get real for a moment. Clinical trial financial management is still one of the most critical bottlenecks slowing down research operations today. Despite so much of innovation in trial design and patient engagement over financial workflows, still remain manually fragmented and reactive piece. Let's talk about one of the examples: manual workload overload. Over 60% of sponsors are still using spreadsheets and email threads to manage budgeting and reconciliation. This leads to inconsistent data, version control issues, and most importantly, delays. It's not just inefficient, it's risky if you think about it. When you're operating under tight regulatory and startup timelines, it becomes a huge risk. And in 2025, manual financial management workflows should not be a status quo. It's a liability. Siloed financial systems is another big issue where sponsors and CROs typically rely on 4 to 6 disconnected systems. CTMS, payment system, ERP system, accounting system, portals, spreadsheets, teams. I can go on, and our clients come back with a lot of such systems that they have to utilize for one of the use cases. And all of them speak a different language in terms of system languages. This creates friction, duplication, and lack of real time visibility across trials. You can't make fast decisions if your data lives in 6 different places, isolated. The future of clinical trial finance is connected, not compartmentalized. And the consequences of all of these sponsors, CROs, and sites, all of them suffer for more than 30%, and more than 30% of site payment delays or inaccuracies as a major issue of the trial delays. When payments are late, the morale drops, recruitment slows, and trust erodes. Well, fixing financial workflows isn't just a cost control anymore, it's a competitive advantage. Next slide. Before we jump into, and I spoke about a lot of problems, and before we jump into the core benefits of cloud-based solution, I wanted to pause and spotlight one of the most underrated drivers, which we feel of budgeting success, and that's the use of historical SOC and FMV fair market value data. I agree, it's not the flashiest topic, but it's one of the most powerful items we have to bring accuracy, fairness, and compliance into clinical trial budgeting. Now, let's talk about the first point, enabling accurate cost forecasting based on past trials. Historical data is gold, and I'm sure you guys, everyone agrees to this here when it's structured. Using SOC and FMV data helps sponsors and CROs forecast more precisely based on actuals and not assumptions and guesstimations. This creates more reliable and defensible budgets from day one. This critical component is very crucial for compliance. Sponsors need to clearly distinguish when they are paying what they are paying versus what's covered under standard care to avoid duplicate reimbursement and maintain regulatory integrity. Regulators, on the other hand, want to see that site payments are aligned with industry standards. FMV data helps sponsors justify cost and avoid any red flags in audit, especially across global regions. Streamlining site budget negotiation, and this one is big. When both sides have access to FMV aligned benchmarks, negotiations becomes faster, smoother, and less hostile. It sets tone for a productive partnership with the site. Reduction of risk of overpayment or underfunding. Without FMV data, you risk paying too much or maybe not enough. Either way, you create friction. Overpayment raises scrutiny. Underfunding isolates your site. FMV ensures you hit the mark. And finally, it's all about being inspection ready at all time. With clear FMV based documentation, your financial workflows becomes traceable, consistent, and compliant, whether you audit it next month or next year. So SOC and FMV aren't just cost benchmarks; they are anchors of financial accountability in your trials. Cloud-based CTFM uses them to build smarter budgets, strengthen site trust, and simplifies compliance. Next. Well, so far we have unpacked a lot about challenges, bottlenecks, and few important components around historical data. Now, there's a big question though. How do we pull all of these together into a single cohesive financial workflow? How do we go from fragmented spreadsheets and delayed reporting to a real-time, intelligent, compliant financial system? That's exactly where cloud-based CTFM steps in. Cloud-based CTFM addresses the full financial life cycle of a clinical trial, from initial planning to final reconciliation. Let's break down how it delivers the value across 12 key capabilities. First is comprehensive budget planning and forecasting. You can create detailed multi-level budgets using templates, which Tony is going to show you guys during the demo, which can include historical data and real-time inputs to forecast spends with precision. You can automate payments and workflows based on milestones, site triggers, or manual inputs, ensuring accuracy and timeliness. The system helps to streamline end-to-end site payment process, improving transparency and reduce disputes. System also helps in tracking budgets versus actuals in real time through dashboards and analytics, enabling proactive financial decisions. You can also allocate cost across projects, departments, or vendors and reconcile financials with precision. You can track funding sources and disbursement schedules, ensuring every dollar is traceable and accounted for. The system maintains 21 CFR Part 11 compliant records with complete auditability and automated document trails. Platform also supports monthly accruals and compare forecasting versus actual spend dynamically, and a lot more of reports that is crucial to you. You can also monitor third-party spend and manage outsourcing agreement directly in the system. System supports global trial with automated currency conversions and tax rule management. Cloud-based CTFM can connect seamlessly with CTMS platforms, EDC platforms, and any external platforms to align operational data with financial triggers as well. System ensures regulatory readiness across all financial processes locally and globally. So whether you're trying to eliminate a manual reconciliation, accelerate payments, or gain real-time visibility across trials, Cloud-based CTFM gives you the tool to do it intuitively, securely, and at the scale. Next. So now we have seen how CTFM solves the core financial pain points through features like templates, automated payments, tracking, SOC, dashboards, etc. What does it actually mean for your operations in practice? Let's look at the 10 strategic benefits Cloudbase delivers to sponsors, CROs, sites, benefits that go beyond features and directly support speed, compliance, and operational excellence. Number one is centralized financial oversight. Everything lives in one place: the budget, the payments, the forecast, the accruals, enabling a greater visibility and control across your entire trial portfolio. Automated payments and budget tracking ensures that we can trigger sites and vendor payments based on milestones, reducing error and eliminating delays that damage the site trust. With historic benchmarking, FMB, SOC data, and templates, you can forecast with confidence and adapt dynamically. Pre-configured templates and improved workflows streamline budgeting and contracting, speeding up the site activation, and can cut your site activation by half. Every financial action is logged, so you don't have a risk of missing out anything. Everything is signed, stored in a compliant environment, ensuring you're inspection ready at all times. As I mentioned earlier, the system obviously support multi-currency, tax localization, and global site payments. And system provides a very flexible API, which will make sure you can use your existing maybe EDC, CTMS system, payment system, ERP system directly, and integrate seamlessly with the system, with our cloud-based CTFM. Transparent payments and streamlined negotiation improve site satisfaction and retention, which is an important in competitive therapeutic areas. You can stay ahead of issues with live variance tracking, accrual dashboards, and customizable financial KPIs. Whether you're running a single site phase one or 60 country phase three, Cloudbase adapts to your trial structure and team needs. In short, Cloudbase CTFM just doesn't handle trials finance, it transforms it from reactive spreadsheets to strategic control center for your clinical operations. Next slide, please. So we walked you through the features, the outcomes, the strategic benefits Cloudbase delivered. Now let's zoom out a bit and see how it all comes together behind the scenes into a solution overview. Cloudbase CTFM is designed for every stakeholder in trial finance ecosystem. Now you could be from clinical trial finance team, CRO partner team, compliance team, site payment managers, investigators. There are many more personas. At the heart of the system, you will find robust modules to manage everything from study to site budget, forecasting, accruals, contract tracking, payments. There's everything that you can imagine that you will need to run the trials successfully from financial perspective is present. And critically, Cloudbase integrates seamlessly with third-party tools, as I've mentioned a couple of times already. So you can connect operations and financial data in real time. All of this amazing stuff is being run on the world-class Salesforce platform, ensuring the highest level of scalability, security, and compliance, including identity management, two-factor authentication, encrypted data storage, and audit-ready backup services. Whether it's field-level security, disaster recovery, or third-party certifications, this platform is enterprise-ready for demands of the global trial. And to make collaboration seamless, we offer dedicated portal for sponsors, CROs, investigators. Now, you could be sponsor and you can have dedicated portals for CRO investigators. And likewise, you're a CRO, you can have a portal for sponsors and investigators. And this will help each party to access what they need to see, when they need to see, and without compromising data integrity. So when we say cloud-based CTFM gives you end-to-end financial control, this is what we mean. One connected system built on a proven infrastructure designed to deliver clarity, speed, and compliance at a scale. With that, I will turn over to Tunir, and he's gonna walk us to a look at the demo and how this works in a real time. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ved, for that very insightful presentation. I am already sharing my screen. Can you please confirm
Yeah,
it's available
it's visible.
visually? Okay, then. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much, guys, for staying with us for this while. And yeah, Ved, again, thank you so much for that insightful presentation. I would now like to take the discussion for this webinar forward with a product walkthrough of our CTFM application, Cloud with CTFM, which is the clinical trial financial management tool, is something that you can use for running your clinical trial budgets and various other financial aspects of your research. And this can be deployed both as integrated module as part of your CTMS or the cloud with CTMS that we have, which is for clinical operations, or it can be deployed as a standalone application as well. Right now, in the present webinar, we will be showing this as a standalone application, as you can see here. And right now, I'm on the home page of the Cloud with CTFM app. As you can see at the center of it, we have a number of data-rich reports, which are all clustered together to create one neat and intuitive dashboard. Now, if you look closely, these dashboards and reports, they reveal a lot of insightful information. Like say, for example, we have this particular report, budgets by study, which presents a comparative view of the planned budget versus the actuals for the various studies that we have onboarded on this particular application. And looking at these data points, if we can see that there are some studies where there is quite a lot of variance between the planned and the actual cost. Now this reveals two things. One is that either the forecasting was way off limits and something we need to work on for the future studies in terms of forecasting for the study and estimating better the budgets, or it might be that the studies are progressing at a slower pace than usual, and there is a reason why the expenditures are also slower than usual. Now this means that you would have to do monitoring better, as well as keep a more keener financial oversight into the expenses of these studies. So similar to that, you can look into other very interesting insights through all the reports and dashboards that we have here, both from a budgetary perspective as well as from a payments perspective. And all of the data points that we have pulled in to create these reports are updated in real time. And these are persona driven, which means that depending on the type of reports that you're looking for, we can set those up for you during the system setup process. And effectively, as and when you log in, you will be only be able to see those reports and the dashboard according to your requirements. Now, apart from that, all the reports and dashboards that we have here can be downloaded and put into your Excel and PowerPoint presentations. Apart from that, you can subscribe to it as well. Depending on the frequency of subscription, whether you want it daily, weekly, monthly, the day of the week, as well as the time of the day, you can do that, as well as you can include your colleagues to receive these reports and dashboards directly into their mailboxes without logging into the system. So all of that is there, and as I said, these are all updated in real time and available for you. I will show you at the end of the demo how you can set up these reports and dashboards with very easy and user friendly steps of just point and click and drag and drop. But before that, I would like to go over the rest of the demo items that I have here. So apart from the reports and dashboards that we have, we also have the global search bar on top, where you can search for any piece of record in the system, and you can also kind of define the type of record that you're looking for through this drop down. So whether it is budget data, financial, any invoices, studies, contracts, any piece of information you're looking for, you can search by the record name or the ID, and it would instantly pop up here. Then we have the 9 dots of the Salesforce app launcher, through which you can log into other applications directly from the South Cloud with CTFM. So in fact, if you're using the Cloud with CTMS or the Cloud with EDC, you can directly jump into it from the app launcher without needing separate credentials for the same. So that is the app launcher that we have. And on the right hand side, we have the tasks and the items to approve section, whereby you can keep a keen eye out on various tasks that have been assigned to you. Suppose there is a payment that has to be made and it has come to you for approval. You can look at it from the items to approve section, or there is a budget or a budget template that has come to you for approval or review. You can take a hold of it, and you can directly control the items and the duties that you have to take care of on a day-to-day basis from these two areas. Okay, so that is a brief overview of the homepage that we have. I would now like to move over to the next tab, which is the accounts section. Now, the account section effectively, houses all of the business entity data that we have on this application. And as you can see, this is quite a huge list of data points that we have. From a demo perspective, let me open up the accurate clinical research, which is one of the accounts that we have stored here. Now, this is an account of site type, and up top we have also captured a few other basic details of this particular account. We can always update this as per the fields that you would want to set up, but from a demo perspective, this is what we have. um Up, down after that, we have the details where we are capturing the various details about this particular site. Now, in case you are a sponsor user, you're working with a number of CROs, and those CROs have their own CTMSs. In case these data points are already captured as part of the CTMS, we can integrate with the CTMS application and directly bring in the data from those entities. Or in case if you're already using our cloud-based CTMS as well, these data would easily flow in this from the CTMS application. So that is what we are capturing as part of the details tab. Next up is the contact that houses all the contact details of the persons who are linked to this particular account, accurate clinical research. The next two tabs are more from a ClinOps perspective, so I would not spend a lot of time on that. This is more relevant from cloud-based CTMS scope, and in case you're looking for a CTMS application, please do let us know, and we would be happy to take that forward with you with a demonstration of a cloud-based CTMS. Next up, we have the clinical studies tab where we are housing all the studies that are presently running on this particular site. Then we have the rate card where we are capturing all the rate cards or the site level budget templates for this particular site. Now, had this been a sponsor record or a CRO record, this would have been the study level budget templates that would have been captured here. And finally, we have the audit trail information in this particular final tab. Okay, so now that we have discussed about the accounts section, let me kind of focus more towards the budgetary aspect of this application. But before that, let me share with you an important piece of information that might help you to understand this application better. So Cloud-based CTFM is based on three foundational elements: the study budget, the site budget, and the visit plan that links the study and the site budgets together. And as Ved described before me, we extensively use study and budget templates, study and um, budget templates to ensure that your entire budgeting process is extremely streamlined as well as accelerated compared to other applications. Now, this means that you have at your disposal an entire library of standard procedures, tasks, and their corresponding rate cards and budget templates. So, from which you can just drag and drop and create your end budgets for both at a study as well as at a site level. So yeah, that is a brief prelude of how we have envisioned the application and set it up. Now, with that knowledge, I would now take it forward and show you how the libraries are set up. So right now I'm in the standard procedures and rates library, and as you can see, we have all the standard procedures that are updated here. And this is not a static list. You can let us know what are the standard procedures that you would want to put in from a study perspective, from your studies context, and we can update that for you. And accordingly, we have also updated the rates. Typical, we have considered the rates, considering the phase of the study. We have considered phase 1 to 3 and phase 4 for coming up with the unit rates. And you can let us know what the unit rates are for your study, and we can update those. And in case you would want some other parameters to be considered here, say for example the therapeutic area or the region of the region of the study, we can also have those, and the corresponding rates can be brought in. Now, this is a very useful way in which you can benchmark your rates against the historical budgetary proposals that you have built. The whatever rates that you have previously put through your historical budgets, you can bring those. You can effectively compare with those and set the benchmark rates here, as well as we described. You can leverage the SOC and the FMB data and ensure that you have put whatever rates that you put here are aligned to that and are you know um, agreeable to the market standards which are presently applicable for these budgets across the regions. So that is how the standard procedures and rates library is set up. And as I said, this is evolving list, and we can add more as you want. Similarly, we have the standard tasks and rates library where we are capturing a lot of standard tasks and their corresponding unit rates. Again, it is given by phase of the study, but we can bring in different parameters as you would want. Okay, so now using these standard tasks and rates and libraries of standard procedures and rates, we are able to set up these budget templates, as Ved was describing. Now these budget templates are the critical component that helps us to really accelerate your budgetary process, as well as modularize the entire setup of the budget on our application. So right now I am opening up a study budget template, as you can see here. Up top, we have some very basic details that are getting captured. There's also a version number, which means that after you have created the base template, you can upversion it and create as many as many copies of it you want, with different changes that you have made to it. So then we have the different line items for this budget template, which are effectively sections where you are capturing different aspects of this budget. And for each of these individual line items, you can capture the standard tasks and rates as I just described from the libraries. So you would not need to manually put it here or type it in. You can directly drag and drop from the from the libraries that we have already set up for you. So this is how we are kind of helping you to accelerate the entire budgetary process, and helping you to kind of like set up the groundwork so that you can just leverage this and instantly set up your budgets in minutes, and you not really take a lot of time in terms of navigating the complexities of an actual budget setup. Okay, so that was about the study budget template. Next up, we have the site budget template. That is um, yeah, just searching for the site budget template that we have. This is All right. So yeah, this is another side budget template that we have, where we are capturing the the various line items under the side budget template. Although this is not a perfect example, let me just see if we have a more accurate example to show for. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so this is a side budget template that we have, similar to the the study budget template setup. This can also be versioned as per your requirements, and we have the line items to show for here, where you can again bring in the standard tasks and rates from the libraries that I just showed you. So this is how we are capturing and setting up the site budgets along with the negotiated rates that you have had with this particular study or with this particular site. So that is how the budget templates are set up. And now that we have gone over the building blocks of our budget, the templates and the library of standard tasks and procedures, let me show you how an actual budget is created on our system. But before I do that, just as a precursor to showing a budget, let me show you how the studies are created, because in any way a budget will be linked to a study. So this is the the studies tab, where all the studies that are onboarded to the system is housed. And there are different ways in which we can look at the study. This is the tabular view. We also have a Kanban view for you, where it shows the studies in the various phases it is in. And then there is a split view for the studies as well. For the sake of this demonstration, I'll go back to the tabular view and open up this particular study record. So the layout is pretty consistent. We have tried to ensure that you have a consistent user experience across all of our applications and our windows. So right now, we have the status chevron here for this particular study that shows the the present status of the study, which is right now in enrolling state. Now this can be both automated as well as manually updated as per your requirements. And below that, we have the details tab, where we are capturing the details of this particular study. Now this can either be entered manually, or in case you are using an EDC, we can directly integrate and bring in the data from an EDC system here. Next up is the planning tab, where we have the milestones and tasks, which allow us to automate the invoicing and the payments, for the payments generation. Like say, for example, you have completed a milestone for site initiation or vendor selection. Now, what would happen is that we can put in the workflows that will ensure that as soon as the milestone is complete, it will generate a particular invoice, and once that invoice is approved and completed, it would generate the or trigger the particular payment to be done to the site stakeholder. So that is how the milestones and tasks work, and we can always customize it as per your requirements. Next up, we have the visit plan here, which kind of links, as I said, the study and the site budgets, and is a very critical component that helps you to track the subject costs, which is part of your site budget. So I've opened a visit plan record here, and let me just show you the visit plan. So yeah, this is the visit plan that we have. I'm not going through the details of setting up a visit plan, but this is exactly a digitized copy of your schedule of events that you have as part of your protocol. Okay, so now that I have shown you the physics, now let me go back to the study again. Yeah, so we went over the planning tab, and the other sections here are more from a CleanOps perspective. So I'm skipping those for now. Startups and projections are more from our CTMS applications. So we'll be skipping that for the CTFM bit. Okay, so now we come to the clinical sites page where we are storing information about the clinical sites, which are running this particular study. Now let me open up one particular site record here, which is 100 bar, and here you can house information about the clinical site budget that will be important and useful for the budgetary aspects of for this particular site. Okay, so that is how we are, setting up the building blocks for a study, and using all of these data points, we will now be setting up the budget. So we come to the financials tab where we are, capturing details about the contracts, the budgets, the payments, invoices, receivables, and expenses. So basically, every aspect of your money, whether money is flowing in or flowing out, you can capture it here. Now, in the budget section, I would open up the study budget, which is this one. So this is the actual budget that has been set up, using our budget templates and the standard library of tasks and procedures. This detailed section houses the summary view of the budget, which is useful, from you for you to understand, what are the main, components of the budget and what are the essential cost items. I would now go to the budget wizard, which is the button up top. And once I click on it, you will see a layout which is pretty similar to that of the budget template, because we are in fact referencing one, which is the study budget template that we just spoke about. So up top, as usual, we have the basic records that we are, capturing for this particular study budget. And, you can always let us know what are the typical fields that you would want to capture here, and we can update those for you. Um, then we have the line items, or the sections of the study budget that we are capturing below. And as you can see, the tasks that we had pre-selected as part of the templates are available here, and the costs that we had selected during the template setup phase is also available. However, all of this is not set in stone, because we understand that every budget is different, and it might not always go according to the plans of the template. So that is why we have given you the flexibility to add line items if you want, as well as you are able to edit these unit costs as per your requirements and the negotiations that you have during your study. So one particular aspect of those line items that I would want to focus upon is the investigator grant section, where you are capturing all the details of it's on all the details of the site budgets. Basically, it is a roll up of all the sites that fall under this study. And it gives you a nice summary view of all the individual cost items as part of each of these sites that you can look at as part of the you can look at as part of just one line item section here, without going into the individual site budgets. So that is how the study budget, the final study budget is set up. And you can basically, as you would have seen, like, we have completely leveraged our templates to set this budget up. And there has been very minimal manual typing of line items or rate cards, or the individual costs, given the fact that we are leveraging all of these pre-built building blocks to set this up. But in spite of that, we have kept the option open for you to update and edit these line items as and when you require it. Okay, so with that, I have gone through the budget, the study budget record. Let me go back to the studies tab, and yeah, financials. Okay, so now, like, say for example, while during your clinical trial process, you will be accumulating a lot of receivables that you would have to invoice for. So all of those details are captured as part of the receivables section here, as part of with status invoiceable. Now you can either knock it off one by one. You can raise an invoice for each of the receivables here, or if you want, you can click on this generate invoice button and generate a bulk invoice for all the receivables, and then ship it off to your sponsor for payments. So all of that, all of those options are available with you already. Okay, so now that we have discussed about study budgets, let me open up a site budget and show you what we have available there. The layout is pretty consistent as I showed for the study budget. And the details section houses the summary view of the site budget here. And we have the budget wizard, which I'll click on again to reach the site budget, which we call by the name of site budget 100. So up top, again, basic details are captured, which we can always update as per your requirements with the typical fields that you would want here. Indirect costs and withholding percentages are also available for you. So in case you would want to set up a maybe a taxation percentage, you can do it here. Or if you would want to set up a withholding percentage, you can also have it available here. You can version the budgets as well, depending on your protocol requirements. If you would want to create a new version of the budget, you can just clone it and use it across. So we can provide you with a clone button for the same. Going below, the layout is pretty similar. We have the line items with the tasks that are flowing in from the from this particular site budget template that we are referencing here. One particular piece of line item that I would want to speak about is the subject cost, where, as you can see, this is where we are leveraging the visit plan that I had just showed you a minute or so back. So this is it's kind of helping us to um, just calculate in totality the total amount of subject cost across all the procedures and tasks that are undertaken for this particular budget as part of this visit plan. So in essence, once you calculate all of these individual line items together, you reach the total direct cost for this particular subject cost. And then finally, we have the summary view as well, that kind of summarizes the entire line items and the budget sections into one singular piece. Okay, so now that we are on the topic of subject costs, let me show you how, from a site's perspective, the subject costs would be tracked and the payments triggered. Now, ideally, this will be mostly an automated process, given the fact that we will be integrating with an EDC, and the status of the visit completions would directly flow in from there. But given this is a standalone demonstration of our CTFM, let me show you behind the scenes how this happens manually. So I go into the study tab and I will open up the subjects. So I'll pick one subject here, which comes by the name of subject 340. Again, the layout is similar, if you may notice. And we are capturing some very basic details of the subject here. This can again flow in from an EDC integration. We go to the visit plan, where we are capturing the list of visits and the procedures that have been undertaken on this subject. And down below we have the visit plan, where which is basically the subject's linkage to the study. So effectively, he will be undergoing this visit plan once he appears, and for this particular study. Now what happens here is that we can either like what we can do is that we can either come to this visit plan, we can mark off each of the procedures as and when it is completed, and this would instantly reflect here as a status of completion of the procedure. Or what we can do is that we can directly mark the visit complete in itself. That would also reflect here, showing that the visit is completed and the corresponding procedures being completed as well. And once we do that, we have to just click on the save button for the for this changes to reflect everywhere on the system. Now, once we do that, I'll show you an example of one particular record that we had pretty recently done. So this is, like, take for example, this visit record, which is TD1C6. Now, if we look at the subject visits record, we will see that TD1C6 is marked as complete, which we did just a while back. If I open up this particular record of subject visit, I will if and go into the procedures section, I will see all the procedures have been marked as completed, because in the visit plan we have marked the entire study as complete, which means all the procedures within it would also stand completed. But when we go to the the payments section, now okay, so this is marked as invoiced, but then again, let me take a different example in this case. One second, please. So yeah, let me take this particular visit for example. Now I'm marking it complete at the visit level to ensure that the procedures have already been completed. So once I do that, this is TD5C10, and as you can see, TD5C10 is C10 is marked as completed. Now, once I go to the visit and I go to the procedures, I see all of it is marked as completed. And the payments, these appear as invoiceable. Now, once this appears as invoiceable, if we look at it from a site's perspective, then these payments would now have to be generated, right? So let me now go to the site and show you how this view would look like. So I go to the site view and I open up the financials. And as you can see, all the payments that we had marked as that we had seen as invoiceable as part of that particular subject visit, will also appear here with the same status. Now, as a CRO, what you can do is you can either mark these off, one by one as invoiced, and once you do that, the invoice records will correspondingly get created here, and you can then trigger the payments. Or you can, leverage this generate payments button here and bulk invoice the complete set of payment options that you have, all of it which is in invoiceable state right now. Now, this option is available to you as part of your, as part of your overall management of site budgets. But in case you would want to provide greater transparency to your sites and help them to see, what is the current status of the payments, given that the procedures and tasks and, the visits they have completed for this particular subject, we can always leverage the cloud-based site portal for the same. That helps these sites to have real-time visibility into the status of their payments, which is in fact very important to maintain long-term relationships with them. So let me open up the site portal for you to give you that view. Now, site portal access will only be available to your site users, whichever site users you would want to have access, specifically to their budget teams if needed. And if they go to the site portal and reach the payments section, they will have a view that shows them all of the payments that have been made to them till date with the corresponding status of those payments. Now, say for example, if a particular payment is presently in in invoiceable state, it will reflect here, or if it has already been paid, it would also reflect here. Now this in fact goes a long way in terms of securing your long-standing partnership with your sites and help you to you know gather that trust from them, so that they would not need to really depend on you to understand the status of their payments, and they can directly go on the portal at any point of time and see and download reports if needed of the payment status for the work that they have completed. So yeah, so that is what we had as part of the the site portal. I will come back to the site payments section here. And yeah, so and apart from that, as I said, the invoices section is where you are calculating, or you are storing all the records of the invoices that are generated for the payments. And yep, so that is it that we have now. We have gone over both the site and the study budgets here. And I would now like to just take a step back and show you go back to the home page where we had the reports and dashboards. And as I had promised, once I go over the remaining items of the demo, I would also show you how we can edit and create new reports and dashboards through very easy point and click and drag and drop user actions. So right now I'm in this particular report that I had just showed you. And if I click on edit, I would be going into the editable view for this particular record. And as you can see at the bottom, all the constituent data fields and the record that has helped us to build the report is available here, which you can thoroughly inspect as per your requirements. As well as if you want to slice and dice the data, bring in new fields, you can do that by just dragging and dropping new row elements or new column elements as you want. Now, as and when you do that, this would reflect in this particular report and the graph, and appropriately it would get updated as well. I would not do that as part of this particular demonstration because this is something that we have already set up. But then it is it's very easy in the sense of just dragging and dropping individual elements and creating the reports as per your requirements. Now there is also the option of looking at it through different viewing options. Now right now we have the column view, but in case you would want to have the bar view, you can do that. The line view is also available now. So yeah, this is extremely user friendly, and one of the the highlights of our application is that we are able to generate these reports and dashboards through just very minimal user actions, and also teach you in terms of how you can do the same without needing to reach out to Cloudways on a daily basis for our help. So yeah, that is what we have as part of the reports. And similarly, we have the dashboards also, which we will be setting up for you as part of the system. In fact, the system comes with pre-built reports and dashboards. Like we come with almost 50 plus to 100 reports and quite a number of dashboards out of the box. But then again, we will work with you during the system setup process to understand what is the typical dashboards and the report requirements that you have as per your personas, and we will set those up for you as per your requirements. So yep, that is it. Again, we have I have just been able to scratch the surface, given that we had just a short amount of time to show you the entire system and the critical aspects of the CTFM application. But in case this does trigger your interest, and if you do want to see a more in-depth demonstration of a CTFM, please let us know, and we would be more than happy to arrange a demonstration for you, and answer as many questions that you have, and also see how we can solve your clinical trial budgetary challenges with our application. you know Okay, so that is it. Pooja, I will stop the product demonstration now and hand it over to you for the next steps.
Thank you, Wade. Thank you, Tani, for those valuable insights. And thank you to everyone who participated in our Q&A. I do see there are more questions coming in. So we'll be taking that up. But in the meantime, let me also just share my screen. So we have a resource that we wanted to share with you all. Wait, Tanir, could you just confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we have a white paper over here, which is around streamlining your clinical trial budget management. We have a QR code. Would request you all to please take out your phones and scan the QR code, and you'll be able to access the document. But in the meantime, let's start taking more questions. We saw a couple of them coming in the chat. Wait, Tunir, I think you've replied to most of the questions that came in during the webinar, right?
Yeah. And I think on the site hospital POV, yes, we do provide site suite where everything is tracked from the site perspective. So yes, we do have solutions where you can track perform versus invoiced, paid was activities from the site perspective.
Yeah, there's the
Great.
next question on the cost per license. So yeah, it is it's on an annually
It's
payable license per user.
it's per user per month licenses for this tool, and sometimes it's coupled with our CTMS as well because that's a most frequently used combination. But yeah, it's per user per month licenses.
Awesome. And we still have 10 minutes to go, and I was wondering if we have more questions. Um, you know, I hope we have answered most of the questions. There were a lot of the questions coming in during the webinar. And thank you so much for that engagement. But do let us know if there is any other queries you may have, and we'll be happy to take them up right now. Um, Team, did we reply to this question? Does CloudBiz provide solution for budgeting negotiation by the site hospital, not by sponsor CRO perspective?
I just did,
Just did.
yes.
Okay, that
I
was the
did.
one. Okay, got it. All right. Great. So I hope you've been able to scan the QR code now to download your complimentary guide. Um, I hope this session was insightful for you, and you were able to gain actionable ideas to reduce overhead, improve forecast accuracy, and align payments with real performance. Well, oh, we have another question. Okay, yeah, the recording would be shared along with the slides, so we'll be emailing it to you shortly after this webinar. Great. So that brings us to the end of today's session. We hope you're leaving with a clearer perspective on how to take control of clinical trial budgeting and how CloudBiz can support you every step of the way. For more resources or to book a personalized demo, you could visit us anytime on www.cloudbiz.com or drop us a note at info@cloudbiz.com. In addition, if you want to reach out to our speakers today, Ved is available at vedant.srivastav at cloudbiz.com, and Tanir is available at tani.das at cloudbiz.com. Thank you again for joining us and wish you a very good day ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.